Welcome to Bootstrap, Insights for the Self-Funded Entrepreneur with Frank Cianciulli. My name is Matthew Lay. I'd like to welcome you back to our show. It's 2019, and we decided to start off with a introspective topic. In the new year, we often look at our personal lives and our businesses, and as entrepreneurs, it can be pretty lonely at times. We feel like we're carrying the weight of the business and sometimes the world on our shoulders. And with that introspection, I know that things can get quite dark. You look at your numbers for the year, maybe you haven't accomplished all that you want, maybe it's been a rough year. Frank, I know that being in so many businesses for so long, and I've been there during some dark times, I know you've been through some rough patches with some of the businesses. What's your initial recommendation to entrepreneurs who maybe right now are going through one of those, and how to best deal with it?
Well, it's a great question, and I've seen a lot of videos and quotations on social media about this topic, and it's interesting because it's twofold. You've got the physical demands of being an entrepreneur, especially when you're bootstrapping. It's not a 9-to-5 lifestyle. Oftentimes you're physically putting in 10, 12 hours a day, and not to mention all the mental time invested. Most entrepreneurs don't sleep soundly throughout the night. And there's also the emotional impact. The impact it has, just that fear, that anxiety. Are you gonna get through the month paying all the vendors and paying rent and all that kind of stuff? So, so I think it's to approach it you have to look after your body as well. And I think it's important for just general exercise. Anytime you're trying to you want to trigger the relaxation response. So yoga's good, meditation's good, all that kind of stuff, right? Just puts it all in perspective a little bit. And I know it's hard to get a lot of sleep as an entrepreneur, but you got to try. You got to catch up on that sleep.
And what's one thing you've personally done? Do you do yoga and meditation, gym? What do you do?
Yeah, I've had a personal experience with this. When I first started my first venture, it was all out. I don't even know how many hours, all hours. And I kind of burnt out. Quite frankly, both physically and emotionally. And then it was just realizing that, hey, we're like, as entrepreneurs, we're like athletes of business. We're finely tuned instruments, so you have to treat it as such. Got to watch your diet. Started to watch what I was eating, not so much fast food, and watching my caffeine as well. As much as you want that spark of energy, but at the same time, I was yelling at everybody, and everything was being blown out of proportion because I was having too much caffeine in my system. I'm already amped up. I took to yoga. We even had yoga person come in every week, and everybody got involved with it. But anything that I could just kind of, and everyone's different. I like spas as well. Have that spa day, just some alone time, just some reflection time. I found it made a world of difference. It really charged me up.
I talk about this with anyone who's in, stress or duress, parents or anything, and that taking that time for yourself is really important. At this time of year particularly though, we go away, we spend some time with family. Business never really leaves our head, but to a certain extent. But we're also doing something else, and we're analyzing the year that was. I don't know about you, but I'm never happy when I look at those final numbers. And actually working with and for you, I know you're not either. So, what are your from a business perspective in this time, and as you're looking at the year that was, what are some of your recommendations for how to, put some perspective on what it is that you're looking at?
Yes, and that's a good word that you're using there, Matt, perspective, right? Put it all in perspective. And, most people don't make their budgets, because usually people have really high aspirations. So I think you've got to put that in perspective and look at your overall growth. And if you really need to go even back to when, you didn't have your business and you were wishing and hoping that you could be in this position one day where you had a growing business, hopefully it's growing, and you've had employees and suppliers and just a brand that you're building. And so, you mentioned that when we look back at our numbers, we're not happy. Well, I'd say we're content, but we never have a year where we say, oh, we did exactly what we wanted to. So I find it's, it is satisfying. When you don't have a good year though, because that's, just you missed your numbers completely, you didn't make any money, then you have to reassess.
And I mean, the other thing that we do, I think, a lot is we like to have aspirational budgets. The reason that we're in the seats that we're in is that we want to we want to go for something, right?
Yeah.
If you're just going to put it in you got to remember that too when you're back and you're getting into budget cycle, or what you did last budget cycle was you didn't write a number that was a gimme, you wrote a number that you wanted to hit, that you wanted to achieve, and so you got to put that in perspective when you're looking at it too.
Well, I feel we're blessed. I mean, we've had multiple, I think it's 6 or 7 different profit hot 50 fastest growing companies, several growth 500 businesses. So I think if there's one thing, there's many things, but if there's one thing in particular is what you just said, is that we do aim high. We have the aspirational goals, and what we've learned that I can pass on to our viewers is that you'd be amazed when you have a great team and you set the expectation very high. You'd be surprised at how many times everybody will come together, lift up, and actually hit those goals.
Yep.
And like when you shoot for the stars, if you miss, you hit the moon, you're still pretty happy.
You're still pretty happy with what you got. And so, they say be careful what you wish for, but what I think take away from this is that that's what we say when we're kind of in that down part looking at it. But remember what you wish for, right? Great piece of advice. Dark days, though, speaking about dark days or challenges, recently went through it for myself the first time. And so next time on Bootstrap, Frank and I are going to talk about what it's like to find a banking partner. As bootstrap companies, we still need them. Banks are a necessary evil or part of the way we do business. So we're going to talk about how to find the right banking partner next time on Bootstrap.